as to make my presentation brisk and uh, make it more focused, I have got this information for you. Understand, job design also is important, and style of leadership is also important when the organization is constituted, and that has something to do with the job satisfaction. And every time it's need to be researched, especially finally all this is nothing else but a service sector where satisfaction and offering your service and getting your salary comes in, where most of the things always remain intangible, and any intangible thing require continuous gap analysis or continuous understanding of changes happening around inside or outside. So we call them in marketing extrinsic factor for outside, intrinsic in inside factor of the organization. And job satisfaction, now in this discussion we are more focused on intrinsic, because the companies form their HR profile or HR structure on the basis of need of the particular organization, vision of the organization, as well as mission of the organization. Another way to look at job satisfaction is the first one which I mentioned is a typical of beginning of something when you start in the HR thing. But when you really spend some time with HR people and HR managers and group of people working together nationally, transnationally, or globally, the essence and meaning of human relations and satisfaction changes. In that particular case, the pleasurable emotional state resulting from the appraisal of one's job as achieving or facilitating the achievement of one's job values, this is something important. Pleasurable emotional state is not so easy to achieve for an employee also and for an employer also. The extent to which people like satisfaction or dislike, that is dissatisfaction, their job, really makes a lot of sense and difference. Quickly, I would like to give one example of my student who was born and brought up in a place like Kolhapur, population around 5 to 6 lakhs, got selected in New York Mellon, based in Pune, much bigger city, but smaller than Mumbai, around 50 lakhs population. She worked very well, but culturally she was very shy, very, you can say, less speaking person and only good at hands-on. And it was a KPO and something like that, and she did well. But the problem was her colleagues and her newly joined, interns, whomsoever there, they were into a new culture and they used to go for tiffin, they used to go for canteen, they used to go also for pub. They used to go for modern dressing style and all that. But this girl was very conservative, came from a very different background. So she avoided throughout the year to join with them for lunch or even to go for pub. Especially going to pub was a very fearsome thing for her. And after 8-9 months, I being a teacher, she came once for home, and Sunday she called me and said, "Sir, I want to leave my job because I'm suffocating. I'm not feeling good. This, that, whatever is there." When I talked to her, I realized that the work environment part of whatever she had joined was something different. And I knew that this company has an international, you can say, assessment method. So I said that you better complete 1 year, check what company feels about your assessment, and then only you better leave. She had literally come up with her baggage to Kolhapur and wanted to leave. So much she was suffocating and had some issues. Then on my simple advice, she went back, and within say 3 weeks, her assessment was done. And in the entire lot of all the newly joined interns, she was second, and she was given a lot of incentive and promotion also. So that was a sort of assessment New York Mellon might have done, which really rewarded her work. And then she only very happily called me and said that, "Sir, now I'm not leaving. I understood what you said." So sometimes it happens that even if student leaves the college, they realize something afterwards, and then sometimes the judgment works. So to extent to which people like or dislike their jobs will differ from person to person, mind well. We'll shift to the theories and the model which I'm talking. The first one, job satisfaction theory. Maslow is very well known. The crowd here has come across all the basic discussion of HR and basic management concepts also, which starts from Drucker. And yes, ends also with Drucker, because Drucker has given a great thought leadership in the management theories. And Maslow is somewhere where the human component became important and still remains important despite of technological advancement. It's the beginning of it. It typically goes with physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem, and self-actualization. I don't know how clearly you are able to see this graphic, but it's wonderful. Physiological is hunger, thirst, shelter, like that. Roti, kapda, or makan. Safety is security and protection from physical and emotional harm. Now, physical has become important because of COVID. Social is affection, belongingness, acceptance, and friendship is very, very important for this, for which we have informal WhatsApp groups and why, what not. Even TikTok and other sorts of things started only because of this social, friendship and affection needs like that. Esteem is very important. Internal esteem factors are self-respect, autonomy, achievement, and external esteem factors are status, recognition, attention. In India, status matters a lot, especially marriages. The nature of the job is understood. Salary is very clearly asked by the parents, and people really check whether the would-be husband is competent enough to bear my child, my daughter, and really can manage. So that is typical cultural thing, but it really matters. Actualization is something which very few people really go with, think about, and translate it into reward or punishment or even awakening sort of thing. But this is the structure given by Maslow. Now, if you just look at the comment, you will come to know that more recently this approach is becoming less popular, and it fails to consider the cognitive process of the employee and in general lacks empirical supporting evidence. Now, cognitive process, my reasoning to this is because we have shifted to a lot of individualism. My thesis predicted in 2011 that we are strongly progressing towards individualism, and that individualism has ended into this mobile technology, making everything separate for everybody. And so we want to keep secrets and group secrets and gossips and lot of such human you can say tendencies, which cognitively a scientist or a person cannot so easily map like we used to previously do when the system was quite closed and public communication systems were transparent enough. We have a lot of information now, but communication may not happen. Like we have a lot of contacts, but there is no communication in between us. That is the thing. And so empirically now Maslow's consideration need to be redrafted in terms of your questionnaire making, or we need to make comparison of these job satisfaction theories with a very strong simulated computer aided model. In addition, others have found fault in the final stage of self-actualization, and that is true. Like the monk who sold his Ferrari or Chetan Bhagat like people, like you take some education completely different and you start a different career and completely different aptitude like thing. So now sir would also definitely catch me up here saying that yes, we have that aptitude and career decision matching course also, I understand. But in most of the India, we are forced to choose the career without much choice of our aptitude and attitude. So in this particular case, what happens is self-actualization of somebody starts in the very early stage is very difficult. It starts very late for the people when they are physically not fit or mentally disoriented or something. This is my observation. You can further add or you can deny that also. The lack of clear definition and conceptual understanding of self-actualization is true, and that I have seen with many people. Many people use the language, they consider that that is right only, but they don't verify like a researcher, or they don't have that scientific mind to confirm and get rid of wrong concepts or ideas fitted into their mind for certain achievements. And in that case, I've seen that the leadership as well as the satisfaction part or job design matters a lot, where these things are really crisscross each other. Paired with the difficulty of measuring it makes it difficult to measure what the final goal or when it is been achieved. That also is true. After some time, it happens that most of the Indian situation achievements are hidden, and we find that 80% of the people really do the same thing. That is a big discussion. If you have read the book called Difficulties in Being Good, very famous ex Maruti CEO, you will come to know that he says US and Western countries have gone or lost because of greed, and India has lost because of comparison, or we call asuya, jealousy that is there. So these are the typical social traits also which really matter a lot when you are really thinking of Maslow in Indian context. Then comes Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. If you just look at it, there is satisfaction and dissatisfaction. So instead of integrating or relating or putting them in a linear fashion and trying to understand how this thing work, this theory says that the focus is on how your brain gets satisfied and dissatisfied. What are the different parameters and factors like that? So satisfaction goes with achievement, recognition, growth, responsibility, advancement, and the work itself. And dissatisfaction is security, status, salaries, supervision, organizational policies, and work environment. In public sector, people believe more in policies, written document, and keep themselves struggling hard. But in terms of private sector, people believe into word, exchange or judgmental faith or a groupism or leadership faith or group dynamics like that. This motivation theory really worked very well, I could say, from 80s to 2010. One more example. I am the very voracious reader and user of technology. So I started using internet from 1995 from Kolhapur. So I was experimenting and I was the first pager user. I was called by the pager company as one of the 5 customers. And then I told them that I can train. I'm a trainer also. So the manager called me and there were 5 page, that pager messengers. They were females all, and they had a system that immediately you get a call from somebody, and then you have to tell them the message. Somebody has to decode that message and listening to it, and quickly to a given number, sort of SMS like thing, that pager used to give message to other person. So anything that is there, integrated network is there. There were 2 females who talked to me one-to-one and said that they want us to transfer the message as soon as we hear a customer speaking in bilingual language in 22 seconds, and we are not trained like that. Now that Panwire company is closed, it was from Punjab. There were a lot of communication issues and pager got lost like Nokia. But I have understood that manager who was handling them was talking of Herzberg's theory of motivation. But they had a lot of physical problems, and due to need of the job also, the lady who talked to me said that I have joined this job after the delivery of my child after 3 months, and I cannot sit and 22 seconds shock is something very difficult. So work environment is going to be even more important post-COVID. So please understand, when you just say motivation, don't go with this reward, punishment, and simple things. There are a lot of minute things because the society is broken up into a lot of individualism. So individuals carry a lot of notions, concept, dreams, and false or true ideas of living. In that case, a manager has to understand this satisfaction, dissatisfaction, not just by the terms, but by the context and the company status like that. That is what my observation is. I may be wrong also, or my experience may be limited also, but I'm just sharing to make you understand how theory is connected to reality, because I studied them long back. But now when I connect and again reconnect because of this presentation, I can see that I'm getting a new articulation of all my knowledge so that I can make it more simple and your learning curves will be smaller than me. Next model or job satisfaction theory is the job characteristics model, JCM it is said. It explains the job satisfaction which occurs when the work environment encourages intrinsically motivating characteristics. And there are 5 key job characteristics like skill, variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, and feedback. And influence 3 psychological states also. This is a work by Beshan and his colleagues where meta-analysis of 13 studies specifically focus on the role of critical psychological states and found these psychological states to play crucial practical theoretical role with JCM. JCM is very famous, and most of the experts, they empirically work more on that because more readable, relatable, understandable, and implementable outcomes are found. That is what the research says. You just look at the diagram, you will come to know core dimensions and psychological states, meaningfulness of work, and responsibility for outcome and knowledge of result. In today's world, today's time, I would say meaningfulness of life is very important. I believe that I always make a small definition of psychology. Like Freud said, people live for desire. Next man came in was Adelaide and other theories. They said that people want to live for power. Satta chahiye unko. Okay. And then, this very famous Victor Kraffel, who generated the theory of logotherapy, who was a victim of Germans like that, where he said that the moment the idea of death comes to you, people change. Till then, they are different, because he was part of a Gestapo camp. And so somehow by luck, he was always left out because he was good by his health. But in that time particular period, he saw that when the fear of death is created or all that, people change and they want to give away and their behavior is different. But then he said, neither people work for desire or nor they work for, power. People are looking for meaningfulness. And not very late, but since last 6 to 8 years, we have seen that all the Indian entrepreneurs, like especially Mahindra, you'll find that he started making the things, simple things, meaningful with the tweets and other things, where you will find that meaningfulness is very important for Indians. You might have heard the name Edward de Bono, who created all this, six hat ideas and all that. He used to say that Indians understand symbols very fast because their culture is the oldest one. So Indians quickly pick up the symbolic language fast. That is why in elections and all that also, a lot of symbolic exchange takes place and people change their mind overnight. I believe in Edward de Bono's this thing, because then we don't just understand one language as such or mother tongue as such. We understand symbolically many things because our culture is, oldest, or, in consideration, if you see, is more rich also, if you really want to be proud of it. But in the whole process, what happens is that we mislead each other, we lose the focus. And that is why when an organization is to be run, the problem is that persons are capable, but they cannot deliver. And there comes the employer's satisfaction interest, which conflicts with employees' satisfaction interest. So people will always try to negotiate or bring unionism, saying that you do this first, then we will do that, or something like that. This intrinsic motivation will only come by many other factors which are never bothered by HR people. That is what I can say. I see people around me who are from HR. They hold a lot of power. They do some system-based assessment also. But many unsaid questions which employee has in his mind are never answered. And there I believe Sir's approach, where counseling is very important, behavior and the numbers are important, focus is important. In that particular context, if somebody really uses ZCM, I think that is the best possible theory. Now also you can think of. I'm supposed to just showcase the theories to you. So I'm not a person who has worked too much and produced a lot of research paper to tell you, but I generally share my experience to directly people, and whomsoever is rewarded or benefited, they just come and say thanks to me, because I believe that it should be applied and it should not be just kept in the books or something, because I stay at a very small place where my opportunities or my work was not so much so big that I could apply it on some big scale. But even then, I find that I can very fast interpret national or global or international situation, because conceptually the things are same. If you go to the small places, this the characteristic model JCM is converted into the intrinsic belief of the employer and intrinsic belief of the employee also. So sometimes without mentioning, without any paper or without any appointment or contract also, people work for lifetime, and sometimes they simply leave and leave. They don't bother. How and why this happens really is as a matter of research. But I believe that JCM is quite proven, and many Indian corporates also really go for that. Next is the dispositional approach. It's a significant model that narrowed the scope of dispositional approach and was the core self-evaluator model proposed by Judge Edwin Locke and Kathy Durham in 97. Quite recent, you can say. Argued that there are 4 core self-evaluations, that is the bottom line for conclusions individuals have about their capacity, competence, and worth as a person. Again, meaningfulness. They are self-efficacy, self-esteem, locus of control, and neuroticism. I would say locus of control is very important. Individual believe that he has control on his own life. That is where we Indians lack, and we have a lot of hurdles into it. And there are many people who make opinion and judgments. And that is why a social group of a person, demography of person in India is so much so important that without that an HR manager cannot survive. If you just go by thumb rules or theory books or a theory, you can say text, you will be never successful like that. I would like to share again one more experience here. I used to teach communication at work paper. It is completely seminar paper. So 100 marks paper. So I used to give them some idea, and they have to work and do field research, this, that, like that. I saw Michael Wood's film about story of India. It is in 6 episodes. If you find time, please see that. It is available on Discovery. Michael Wood is a historian who left his Cambridge early, and he runs a company called Maya International. What my HR students used to tell me was that, sir, we know everything. We start with a very scientific approach, but when we sit for interview with a senior manager and owners of the company, even if it is private limited or even public sector, they simply start collecting data about caste, religion, how he looks, how she looks, whose influence is like that. They are not so scientific ways to take up the things, and we fail in that. And I feel that that is a very great irony of the situation, because though we give good knowledge to so many MBA colleges, my data says that more than 1650 MBA colleges are there in India. But the problem is that most of the theories we borrow from corporate thought philosophies are not fully fittable to the Indian situation. So this triggered me to start this paper. These 6 episodes talk about India's history, cultural history, India's history of religion, India's history of thinking, leadership, like that. At the end of it, Michael Wood tells you that this culture is a big combination of old and new. And there were a lot of invasions, lot of wars like that. Every time this culture has stood so strongly that it will face everything, pay the price of it, and again do that. If you just quickly correlate to the marketing example, if you just look at Big Bazaar, the Patni group, the famous family and the owner, if you just look at the case study, Big Bazaar are always organized in a crowded and small place, the interior design of Big Bazaar. And there is a very basic principle the owner has told them. People like to buy on a crowded street. And I have seen that. And so if you see Reliance malls, they are spacious and different type of thing, where visual merchandising and other thing is there. But if you go to Big Bazaar, you'll always find that in a very small place, lot of things are crowded. And also you will find that Big Bazaar has a typical crowd like it is there on the small or big lanes, either Banaras or Kolkata or Kolhapur. You'll find that people love to buy in crowd or something. Now this all, I believe that what particularly Big Bazaar owner says, or what Michael Wood says, is true, because we carry old and new together. So if there is a computer, we buy a new computer like that, we'll always place a sticker of some god, and we'll also have coconut and all the puja thing and all that, and we feel that it is not that contradictory. It is a part of my belief. This is also okay, but when it go to organization and you have global organization, people have different ideas and different feelings. So your behavior really matters. So that is something which is connected to locus of control. That locus of control, if it is too much positively thought by employees, they take up your company on ride, and at that time employers feel very bad about it. So no counseling also can help. We got to understand all this from a very independent and very alert and aloof approach. We should not be entangled or flown, or you can say carried away by any one concept like that, because this combination of 4 factors, dispositional approach, if you just look at it, differs from person to person. One of my neuro physiological friend who recently died in this COVID period 2 months back, he was actually he was a neurosurgeon, and he used to say that, look, don't think of 20 years back. Our human brains are also evolving, and there is a mirroring phenomena. So when we meet each other, we try to mirror each other like that. So everybody is evolving, everybody's brain is also evolving. So please understand that everybody in the system has everything good and bad together. So from that point of view, always be completely unbiased and alert to look at that. So dispositional approach is more better if you really want to have complex organization. I would say JCM and dispositional approach combined together also can really give you something which really you are looking for. We'll go to the next. I talk much about this. Social reference group theory. It is nothing else but work satisfaction as a function of and positively related to job characteristics that meet the wants of a group to which the worker looks for guidance, direction in evaluating his or her own reality. This happens many a time. All the technical projects nowadays, CNC, VMC, like that things, or no, or many technocratic projects where you need to refer to a group, and it is not just technological tools or something like that. Styles of handling equipment, styles of handling machines, styles of handling a team, styles of traveling, styles of eating, everything matters, and the group refers to each other because somewhere in their heart, the human part of it is always the inner core of it is always bubbling with something other, wishes or dreams, but they are forced to join that. I teach communication also because I was teaching business English to my college for more than 9 years. I was the head for Cambridge Training Center. So I have seen that. We study there, and there is a theory called Pygmalion theory. You must be knowing that, a very famous drama written by George Bernard Shaw. And there is a theory in management also. Pygmalion means always developing yourself to somebody else's expectation. On that, there is one paper which I had read in the book. When I find time, I'll give that reference back to you also. So why, sometimes employees think that why we should change my personality, my emotions, my aims and targets, and my dreams of getting home, car, and so many things for somebody else's expectation. So simply people think that the owner of the company, the directors of the company, the promoters of the company are simply exploiting us or something like that. There you require the scientific approach, because the social references are all not precisely tested or confirmed. They are flowing reflection of the society. In Marathi, we call this process like Samaj Purush. Means it is a social, you can say, one social combination of all humans, and that is a character of society. But the character of society cannot become the characteristic of a company that every researcher has to understand when you are looking at. You need to be very objective, unbiased when you are going for that. I hope that I have cleared many ideas with this, but I'll quickly tell you, group really needs to refer to each other because they are habituated. They work together, so they are habituated for lunch, having together, and operating machines together. So I always give a simple example in training that when you are at home, you are thinking of work. And when you are at work, you are thinking of home. When your wife gives you a tiffin and a lot of instructions to go do this, buy that, or take care of these, complaints or good things, whatever is there, you carry that also with your tiffin. When you sit together and you eat tiffin with your colleagues, not only tiffin, but all such you are carried away and could not be attended emotions get exposed, and that also you share. So when you carry an empty tiffin, you are carrying an empty tiffin, but somebody else's emotions and ideas and discussion comes in the tiffin. So when you come at home again, and if you forget something, and if you fight, or if you love, whatever happens at family, it is exactly reverse, and all of a sudden you become so serious, start thinking about the work, because there is no space of thought and emotion for the employee to connect, relate, and understand what really is the satisfaction of his personality. Sometimes our diversity of culture and social norms and belief faith is so strong that people get vindicated or troubled or tortured also in groups, and they are helpless like that. And that is why, to evolve a great leadership, now most of you know Amitabh Bachchan's Diwar movie, the way he really fights out and becomes a hero. Why this heroism has rose in India? Because unsaid, deprived, depressed society has been staying in the culture and cultural social ideas very funnily. So it is through creativity and movies people want to enjoy and vicariously carry out their satisfaction like that. A person who is really working on employee satisfaction should connect and understand and relate how and what it does. When I did 360-degree study of a transport company, I met all the truck drivers and they can't even write also. So I had a team of students. We asked them what you eat, which movie you like, from where did you buy this shirt, from where did you buy these shoes, well, show me your wallet, is there a photograph of your son or daughter in that, like that. So we found it their values and preferences. through which we try to understand them and try to know. Now our team of expert, my other colleague from my college, the manager who was in charge from them, were very restless because they were feeling that we are doing unnecessary things and getting too closer to the employees like truck drivers or something like that. But let me tell you, in the batch of 12 students, around 7 were girls, and we were given a car and we were moving from one transport office to another. And whenever it was late evening, we used to have dinner at any dhaba or any public place, at there only truck drivers go because transport company knew only their types of hotels. We have seen that most sensible, even though they might be some drunkard people in them, they are very, very, you can say, decent people in the driving community. They used to give us respect. They used to vacate the table, give us the food first. They were human. And when these girl students have realized that one of them is doing a fantastic career in transport, but all of them, they got themselves 360-degree, worked out in their own life, which was something out of the book also and something out of the life also. So social reference group theory for skillful jobs where knowledge is less and skill is more. More such people are there in India if you are really looking from the Indian perspective, and you have to create a lot of satisfaction to them with government or with company or with the policies or with knowledge or counseling. That one researcher has to keep in the mind when you are talking about. Forget and forgive if I'm telling something extra out of the scope, but I feel that at this point of time, when we say, job satisfaction theories, I'm trying to just showcase the ideas and the concepts to you. Now, this is a very important theory called a grounded theory approach as such actually. And it is nothing else but the implication of all the theories which was suggested by Sir also. And I just found this, and what I was talking about is more precisely said into this. A competitive environment organizations towards an important internal wealth and their employees. Now they have started looking at it. Why? Because HR management also must understand employee perceptions, that is voice of the employee, and develop complex motivation strategies and communication campaigns as to change false impression. This false impression is a big problem for HR managers. Rebrand an organizational image and have an impact in the labor market. For these strategies to be successful, they must address the 6 most important variables which determine and justify low and high job satisfaction. So in that case, this grounded theory also suggests the importance of organizational counseling. After you make the questionnaire, if you identify the right problem, then it works. Like, what are the important factors which really matter? It helps you in reducing dispute. It creates cooperation, creates dynamism. Employee satisfaction is increased. Motivation of worker takes place. Create favorable environment. Good employer-employee relationship is developed. Management satisfaction is more. Enhancement of human potential is there. Provision of benefits to members is given. Profit also increases. Job satisfaction, is creating there. Then decreasing emotional disorder. That is very true. People forget their troubles and problems. Dukh bhul jate hain log apna. Decreasing labor turnover. That is very important thing. Creating respect toward management. That also happens. Solving critical managerial problem. Yes, critical things are solved when you really work on this. Avoiding delay, in the presence and all that. Increasing team spirit, effective participation, continuous development. I would put this into, there is one research paper of all the government officers. We carry out ABCD policy. Avoid, A for avoid. Okay. Then B for boycott. We boycott. Because the hierarchy is flattened. We boycott. We directly meet the boss or we directly meet the person at the ground. Okay, boycott. C, D is delay, and C is confuse. Avoid, boycott, or confuse or delay. That is the way typical HR manager would work if he doesn't have this grounded theory approach or even the knowledge of human essence, as you can say. That is something very, very important. This particular grounded theory approach, I have not studied theoretically, but I have observed in many organizations that people take decisions. Employer really want to do something for them, but everything ends up into just spending money on something which is tangible or something like that. I consulted one silver ornament dealer from my area. He stays in a village. We stay at a place where Mahalakshmi temple is there. It is 750 years old. So we are called South Banaras, Dakshin Kashi. It is 20 kilometers away from where this silver ornament owner is there. He called me one day and said, look, I have around 800 customers. They are the traders of, payal, panjan, the one ornament which you wear in legs, okay, or earrings or toe rings like that, all made of silver. And all the small traders from villages in all that district, they come. What I want is that I want to improve and make this to from 750 to 3,000 people should come to me. And silver is such a case that there is no security. So the trader carry the bag with them and they travel by bus, two-wheeler, whatever. Their security methods are different. We are not like RBI. We carry gunmen or something. I studied them. I conducted 3-4 meetings with them. And there was a playground in front of that fellow's shop. Hupri is also a big place. You can check HUPARI, Kolhapur, and you'll find that it is a capital of all silver ornaments. A lot of people are there. And then everybody started talking to me. And then I learned that they are into social reference group, but they compare each other in a wrong way. And they feel that the silver, gold is so costly thing, our life also will become like that. And they had a lot of troubles like that. I realized that it is not possible to have any training as. I suggested the owner to have a cricket match on the ground in front of his house. And I said that you please give me so much of money, I will manage, you don't come please there. And after one cricket match, my idea worked and they became friends and lot of stress was lost. And after that, we had a good meeting and then the problem was identified. Unfortunately, I'm not backed up by good, research team where I could have collected a lot of data and created something. But these are all case studies which I do. Then after that, he told me, what should I do in future? Then I realized that there is so much secrecy and transparency is not possible in few businesses. I suggested his son to be taught into an institute where family business management is taught. At that time, we were not having this subject at our place. So Wellington Institute in Mumbai has that. He sent his son to study like that. And now he has come, his younger son also has come. And with the help of the professors there and all that, that person who is the owner, he lost his admission to medical sciences after 12th because his father was sick and he was so intelligent but could not join medicine. So all his intellectual capacity he was employing into his silver business, hard targeted fellow. But he was understanding the importance of counseling, training, consulting, everything. So he called me and he took the help of family business management people from Mumbai, and now they have grown up like anything. More than 8 times more they have grown up after I met him, something like that. So here he understood what I'm doing, but he always wanted to know the reason. When you are doing research in corporate or something, very important thing is that you got to convince your bosses first. The core team should accept that you can do it. Then only your research and other things get sanctioned or something. Otherwise, just core research is not possible. And just online research also, the credibility and a lot of things are there, which I think sir can tell you better. But I think it is really difficult. But the grounded theory benefits are more, and I think better than me, sir may highlight in his session if you want. Let us go to the last slide. So if you don't want to just carry out the data and information, but simply want to know that, okay, what is the basics of job satisfaction theories? It is revealed that demographic variables and scores on the 5 commonly used personality traits, that includes openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, are there. They need to be focused together, accounted for significant portion of job satisfaction. That means these are the only traits you take care when you are studying. I have put a graphic here which shows openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So when you feel that you are right, somebody else feels that you are mad, and when you feel that he is mad, he says that he is right. That is going to be there all the time, I can say. So this is all I had prepared, and on a suggestion by Dr. Roy sir, it's a great honor for me to express my ideas here. Thank you very much. Here are the references also. I'll be sharing this with RPRIT. I think if you have any questions, you can please go ahead and ask me. I have a motto for our institute. It is in Sanskrit. I'll share that. Maybe you understand. Amantranam aksharam nasti nasti mulaushadhi mulam. Ayogya purusham nasti yojakas tatra durlabha. Our institute where I teach, our motto is yojakas tatra durlabha. That means amantranam aksharam nasti. Every word, every syllable has a power of mantra. Amantranam aksharam nasti. Nasti mulaushadhi mulam. Every root, every small sapling has some medicinal value. Should not throw away anything. That is very important. Nasti mulaushadhi mulam. Ayogya purusham nasti. Nobody you can say is good for nothing. Everybody has some ability. But the only rare species is yojakaha. Yojak means organizer, manager. Here in this case, the right researcher, the right research guide like Dr. Roy, right organization like RPRIT, where it is small or big, or rich or poor, or very vast or very minute is not important. The real connect to the truth is very important, because finally all the faculties are doing nothing else but always in the search of the truth. So the path which you decide with the help of this job satisfaction theory to further go ahead with the questionnaire thing ends here. And this is what the best I feel I can present to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Roy sir and RPRIT. Thank you for giving me this great opportunity to share my views. You can ask questions.
Dear students, if you have any question, you can ask.
Sir, I have a question on avoiding delay presence. Can I mean what does it say?
ABCD.
Right? Avoiding delay presence. So it's seen in the theory, the loss theory.
Yeah, I told you. A shortcut of that. Generally, this is the impression people carry about public sector. I said government officer had put this key. There is an impression for public sector, employees also. I'm not talking about public, common public. You are avoided. Employee is avoided. Okay. Or boycotted means something important is to be done in a team or considering him, but the person is boycotted and you try to focus only on somebody who has authority or capacity. That is boycotting. Okay. Then C is confused. You may take up the whole team, but you confuse that employee, or employees confuse you. And last is delay. You don't do anything. Though employee is trying to tell you from different angles, different perspective, what is he needing for, so that your objectives will be fulfilled as a company and he will be satisfied. You will find that nothing is done. So delay creates a lot of frustration, negative emotions. So in simple terms, this was a paper by an IAS officer. He said, we are ABCD, means we avoid, we boycott, we confuse, or we delay. That is what the people in the government sector, they feel. If you're looking for some good government sector HR analysis, you'll always find it. People talk big about policies, salaries, security of a job, pensionability and all that. But globalization has devastated everything. The new terms are different. So this was not said sarcastically, but it is the truth with some of the government organization, not all.
Yes, sir, I am clear now. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Parijat, for your very nice presentation. You have presented your paper through the PowerPoint presentation, and that is very, I like to say that is very systematic and artistic also.
Thank you.
Very simple and very simplistic overall. And you have covered the basic tenets of job satisfaction. And in your presentation, you have told that is when you are talking about the job satisfaction, we are following all the Western theories.
Yeah.
We are not following the Indian theories, but there are
Yeah.
some Indian theories. Rabindranath Tagore, he has given some theories of job satisfaction, but in different manner, because during his time, psychology was not in India. So therefore, whatever his presentation through his own compositions, we find
Yes.
the different theories of job satisfaction. Okay. Now, I am requesting all of you, I will give you 5 minutes time. So please you write down what Professor Parijat has presented to you. Please you write down. After that, you will read it. And after that, I will take my class. So you will get 5 minutes time.
So today is my spiritual guru's birthday. So if you allow me, after this session, after my session is over, I would like to leave the meeting in 5 minutes.
Whatever comes to your mind, please you write down. Just points, not the detailed discussion, just the points.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
But you can get the feedback from them.
Yes,
You
yes.
can wait
I
for
will.
some time.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Okay, so who will present now?
Sir, myself, Vignesh here, sir.
Okay, Vignesh, please.
So it's a great opportunity to associate with you and RPRIT. And today it's a very meaningful in attending this session. So that process started with the job satisfaction, like the search for meaningfulness. And also I could recall my midlife career jump because of this job satisfaction. So he covered with the classic case studies like Big Bazaar Pantaloon, Maruti CEO, and the great motivators like Robin Sharma. And also, it's quite engaged with the 360-degree appraisal in a transport company. And I could get insight that the work engagement should be connected with the more emotion. So this combination gets a great commitment in our work. So I could take the professor as a great example, and I follow in my life to be more commitment. And also I learned that mirroring and other social reference theories, and also about the discovery of, the story of India. It's about the jealousy and all those. This is very new information to me. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Vignesh. So who is the next?
Sir, I'll keep it very short and concise. I really like the examples that sir presented with the theories, because I've studied these theories in my bachelor's, but when we studied them, it was very theoretical based and the examples were very normal. But the example of different movies and the application of those was a very different perspective. And another thing, that cricket match idea was amazing. If I ever get a chance to apply that, I will surely do it. And it's just how he presented the theories that we studied earlier, but it was in a very different manner with a different perspective, and how it is applicable in the Indian culture, in the Indian offices, be it public, private, or government sectors. That's it, sir.
Thank you, Khushi. Now, Mona Lisa turn. Mona Lisa, have you written something?
Yes, sir.
Mona Lisa, are you here?
Sorry, the opportunity, sir.
Your voice not clear. So, Shita, have you written something?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Please.
I would really like to thank Rajendra ji for giving such a wonderful presentation. It was really simple and really motivational and really informative. So I would just keep it very brief. Starting from the need fulfillment theory, when he explained the Maslow's theory, and he taught that how self-actualization is something that that is being looked forward. And then he told about the progression towards the individualism that is being and his example of 1995 when he started using internet, and then difficulties in being good. So all these connect in a manner that really motivate us to look forward in a positive manner towards the modalities that may occur while we work or while we gain learning and working experience. And also the work environment that he talked about, and the achievements, growths, and responsibility that acts as a positive, and how supervision can also be improved. And then the job characteristic model with code, explaining the core dimensions and the psychological state and the outcomes. That was really informative. And then moving on to the meaningfulness, that is the core component. And in fact, the dispositional part was really helpful, because self-efficacy and self-esteem are somehow I feel like related. But all of whatever he has said, the best part which I liked was, with each and everything he gave small examples, small experience, that what I have experienced, like something that is very personal to me, how he connected the theory and his personal experiences. That is something that really brought out the best in his talk. So I would really love to thank him for that. And of course, the locus of control, which, yes, there is a lot that I have to say, but I would like to keep it really precise.
Okay, thank you, Akshita. So, Professor Parijat, you have received the feedback.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you. I'm really grateful. Thanks for this great opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. If you allow me, please, I can leave.
Yeah, sure. You can.
I would leave the meeting, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody. See you soon. Thank you.
Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
What is this? What is your impression about this picture? What comes to your mind?
The teamwork.
Yes. Number one is the teamwork. And the second one, so can you explain the need theory? What is the need theory? What is the basic need?
Physiological need, hunger, thirst.
Yes, basic is physiological need. Okay. And this team means it is a belongingness. Right. Belongingness. Okay. And after that, that is the achievement need.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we have noted, that is there is a hierarchical structure of our need. When you talk about the job satisfaction, then we have to explore the P and E fit model. Any idea about the P fit model? P means person, E means environment. Okay, so here environment is the job environment. And P is the person's own cognitive structure. That includes values, that includes belief, that includes ability, that includes aptitude, all those things. Another side is the job. Okay. Now, when we will try to assess the job satisfaction, then we have to think about what is the expectation of the person, or what is inside the mindset of the person for job satisfaction. That is the most important issue. Is it clear, Khushi, Monalisha, Bignesh, Akshita?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, for example, recently I requested one professor to give one lecture in our Sunday webinar. And professor was very much interested. And when I told him, sir, this is basically the free webinar, so we cannot give you much honorarium for your presentation, but limited honorarium definitely I will give. So professor wrote me, that is my 1 hour lecture cost 5,000 rupees. Okay. That means he limited basically. And therefore, I have decided, okay, sir, this is basically our institute is academic trust. And we are managing our finance by the registration fees for the different courses. By this way, we are managing our institute finance. Okay, we have no fiscal deficit, but in this way, we are managing. And if you think that is you will be able to contribute, then please you confirm, otherwise you drop it. Because I cannot give you such hefty money. Okay. Again, when I requested one professor, sir, please contribute your ideas in our Sunday webinar. We will provide you the certificate. We will provide your all sorts of hospitality, etc. And what is your expected terms and condition? And the professor said, no, I don't want anything. And definitely I will be there. I will present my paper. Okay. So what's the difference between these two people? So the first one, his expectation is basically the pay. His interest is on pay. His interest is not on the disseminating knowledge. I don't say it is good or bad, but it is the mindset within his mind, because he told me that in near future we'll make a lot of the collaboration with you and so many things. And finally, when I said that such hefty amount I cannot give you, and he dropped it. Okay. So what is important, that is you have to assess the mindset. But in case of the second professor who did not charge any money, nothing, in his mindset, what is there? That is the, I want to serve the society. I want to serve the society. And that is basically our Indian value. When I went to Bandel Thermal Power Station for assessment of job satisfaction, there I found one person during the tiffin hour, he is working. Then I asked him, sir, this is tiffin hour, but you are still working. He told me, that is, I am committed to serve this organization. When I went to Pondicherry, I was in International Guest House. I have noted one gentleman. He regularly cleaned my room. In the early morning. And I could easily relate that now it was 6 a.m. because just at the 6 a.m. he rang the bell. Then I told him, hello, can you tell me, that is, who is your leader? Who is your manager? Who told you to come to my room, very scheduled, maintaining all the schedules? At that time, he had shown me two pictures hanging on the wall. These two pictures are Rishi Aurobindo and Sri Ma, the mother. So that is basically the spiritual factor for the job satisfaction. And that thing you may find in India. So when you talk about the job satisfaction in the Indian culture, you may find this spirituality. I am here only to serve the order of Sri Aurobindo and Sri Ma, to follow the order of. And this order means service to the society. Now you can relate this service to the society as the self-actualization, maybe, but not the self-esteem. Because they do not want any recognition from you. They do not want any recognition. Okay. That means in our mindset, the variables of job satisfaction, number one, are different. And second, they were hierarchically structured. Okay. So when Maslow thought about the 5 categories of needs hierarchically, Maslow assumed that is the very lower needs or lowest need, you can say, that is our physiological needs. And the highest need is the self-actualization. Still now we are searching what is self-actualization. Because self-actualization is very, very higher level of goal. Very higher level of goal. And very few could achieve that particular goal. When Maslow came to maybe Asia, I do not know whether he came to India or not. Maslow, at the last moment, he related self-actualization with Nirvana Tattva of Gautam Buddha. So that is the one approach. This approach is basically the need theory approach. So when we study the job satisfaction, we can study from the need theory approach. And Professor Parijat already discussed the need theory. Now there is one important issue. Rabindranath Tagore, in Bengal we are saying Rabindranath Thakur. So Rabindranath Thakur, he told jaha pai taha bhul kore chai আর যাহা চাই তাহা পাই না। যাহা পাই, what we receive, that is by mistake. And what we want, we do not get. Okay, so যাহা পাই তাহা ভুল করে চাই। Now Hertzberg initially thought that what the employees want, so Hertzberg requested all the employees to write down 2 events. One event will be related to employees' very pleasant experience in the company. And another event, the unpleasant experience in the company. And finally, Hertzberg observed very interesting things. Hertzberg observed that is, people want motivating factors. Because they know that is the hygienic factors are already fulfilled. So people want motivating factors. Just like Tagore, যাহা পাই তাহা ভুল করে চাই, যাহা চাই তাহা পাই না। What I receive, that is by mistake. Okay. And what I want, Hertzberg first time, he had shown that is, people don't want pay. Because the theory X of the management assumed that is, people want pay. So the theory X followed the carrot and stick approach. But Hertzberg first, he had shown no, people don't want pay. Pay is the basic thing. People actually want recognition. People want recognition. People want satisfaction of higher order needs. And finally, Hertzberg has shown that job satisfaction is not the opposite of job dissatisfaction, and job dissatisfaction is not the opposite of job satisfaction. So the job satisfier and job dissatisfiers, these two are totally different. Okay. So based upon these two theories, we have understood the ordinal structure of the variables. Now, during the counseling, psychological counseling, for the employee absenteeism or for employee attrition or for employee turnover or employee stress, it is your function to collect these two types of data. One is the very much pleasant experience. Another one is the unpleasant experience. And then you can probe. And by this probing, then you would be able to explore more variables. The variables which are in the mindset of the employee. And after that, you can request your employee maybe you have explored 15 variables of job satisfaction. And next you will ask your employee, please you rank them from 1 to 15, and there will be no peer rank. Is it clear up to this or any question? Hello?
Sir, clear, sir.
This is clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
Yes.
So now I am presenting one paper where one researcher explored several variables by probing. I think it is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
So these are the explanatory variables for job satisfaction. It was studied in European country to find out that is what the European people want. The first one is the good pay. Second one, not too much pressure. 3, security. 4, respected job. 5, good hours. 6, opportunity to use initiative. 7, generous holidays. 8, opportunity to achieve. 9, a responsible job. 10, an interesting job. 11, meets one's abilities. 12, pleasant people to work with. 13, good chances of promotion. 14, useful for society. And 15, opportunity for meeting people. Okay, so they have explored these 15 explanatory variables. Okay. Like that, you can ask your client, and you can explore the number of variables in your client's mind. After that, you can tell him, so there are 15 variables, and do you want to add something more? Or do you think that is some variable is not appropriate for your job satisfaction? Okay. So we can delete it. And do you want to add anything more? So whatever the variables your client will say, you can add it. And after that, you can take one rank. Okay. So that is one approach. This is basically called the ordinal scale. So in this way, you can collect the data. Okay. And finally, if it is a factory and if you want to think that is you have to compare, then you can compare. Based upon the rank. So this is basically the rank order scale. Now another approach is there that assumes how much you expect and how much you receive. And job satisfaction means the difference between the two. That is how much you expect and how much you receive. And if you find out the job satisfaction, that is basically the difference between the two. In that context, you have to follow the rating scale. So there are two approaches for measurement of job satisfaction using the rating scale. One is the how much you are satisfied or to what extent you are satisfied with good pay, with job security, the hours, etc. So that is the rating scale. That is one approach. But another approach is the difference between the two. How much you expect and how much you get, or how much you receive. And if you find that is the difference between the two is very close to the zero, then what would happen? For example, good pay, that is the one rating scale, maybe 1 to 100, and the good pay is 80. and what you receive from 1 to 100. Again, that is 80. That means it is match. So if it is match, we can assume that the weightage will be high. Okay. And if you find that is the good pay, your rating is 90, and what you receive, that is the 80. That means the difference is there. 80 minus 100. Okay. So there will be the minus sign. So you have to find out how many minus signs are there, and how many plus sign is there, and how many zero sign is there. So two things will be there, that is 1, 2, 3. Okay. Less satisfaction means 1. And more satisfaction means that is plus sign. If it is a minus sign, then that will be 1. And if it is plus sign, then it will be 3. And if it is same, then it will be 2. So in this way, you can find out the job satisfaction index. Is it clear or any question? Hello.
It's clear, sir.
Okay. Now another approach, that is if the question is like this, suppose you will be offered one job wherein you will get better facilities from your current job. Will you leave the current job? Whether your answer is yes or no. So if your answer is yes, that means you are not satisfied. Okay. So that is one approach. That is, by using single item, you can assess the job satisfaction. And there is another approach, that is the with job facets. That is what I have discussed already. That is the job facet. That means you have all the explanatory variables of job satisfaction. And for each job satisfaction variables, for example, one is the relationship satisfaction. So your item is to what extent you are satisfied with the expertise of your supervisor. Another item, to what extent you can trust your colleague. Another statement, to what extent you are getting support from your subordinates. In this manner, you can create some of the items which will reflect the job satisfaction with respect to the belongingness, like that. Okay. So what is the advantage of this approach? Advantage is this: you can find out on which area your client is more satisfied or less satisfied, but it is not the dissatisfied. For example, from strongly agree to strongly disagree, or from strongly disagree to the strongly agree, that is a scale of job satisfaction. So it does not mean that is if your score lies on the lower end, it means you are dissatisfied. No. Archibald says no. Because job dissatisfiers and job satisfiers are different. So it is basically job satisfaction is nothing but the scale on which you can assign some your emotional response related to the job variables. Okay? Is it clear or any question? Is it clear or any question?
Clear, sir.
So,
Okay. Now the last one. Because many people, they are not very much aware about the job variables in their own mindset. So that is a major problem, because sometimes you may find that is okay, these are the mean. So that means the employees want this one. And when you provide all the facilities, but still you will find that is the employees are not satisfied. So this is a major challenge in the industry. Therefore, you have to explore the determinants of job satisfaction. So determinants of job satisfaction is not the explanatory variables. For example, You have said that is you want more pay. That is true. You want more pay. Then as a psychologist, your function is to find out why the client wants more pay. That means what is within the mindset about pay in the client? What is within the mindset? Because if you study Bloom's theory, you will find that is what Tagore actually told us. That is, jaha pai taha bhul kore chai, and jaha chai taha pai na. If you follow the Bloom's expectancy theory, you will find that is the client wants some object. But actually that object is the symbol of another object, which is within the mindset of the client. For example, I want more pay. Why? Because pay means high level of status. So pay means status. So what actually I want? I want status. But when you ask me, then I will tell I want pay. And that is the major problem of job satisfaction in the counseling part, basically. Because as a psychological counselor in the industry, many people come to you, that is, I am not satisfied with the job. Many software industries, they are basically facing this type of crisis, that is a high level of attrition. Okay. So as a psychologist, your function is to probe two things. Number one, what is within the mindset of your client related to the job satisfaction variables? Number one. And number two, what determinants are there for selecting the specific job variables for the job satisfaction? Okay. This is the important part. Because finally, when you do the regression analysis, for example, the job satisfaction and the productivity, you have to think about some explanatory variables that can predict maximum variance of the individual productivity. That is the most important part for assessment of job satisfaction. This is all about my lecture. Is it clear or any question?
Sir, can you tell me something about the determinants with the example, sir? What determinants are there? How to explore that?
For example, when you find out there is a high pay on individual wants, then you can ask him, what will you do? Suppose the company will give you high pay. After that, what will you do? Definitely, he will tell something. And finally, you have noted that all the things what your client says, that is related to the status. Okay. So the status is the strong predictor for the individual productivity, but not the pay. Okay. I am not satisfied with my supervisor. And finally, you have noted that is because the supervisor cannot give the expert opinion during the crisis. So that is the most important part. That is supervisor's expertise that is strongly related to the individual productivity, but not the simple satisfaction with supervisor. So that is the major challenge. Is it clear now or any question?
Yes, sir.
Akshita, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Khushi?
Yes, sir, very much clear.
Monalisha, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So please you write at least
Sir,
whatever in your mind about my lecture. You will get the 5 minutes time. Okay. Please you write. Okay. So who will present?
Sir, Vignesh here, sir.
Okay, Vignesh, please.
So while starting with the job satisfaction rating, Professor insisted the mindset that too the cultural context plays a major role. Here comes the psychology about the perception and the preferences, and it's very clear that various theories says about to what extent it should be measured and what's the gap between the expectation, and based on this we could measure, and also we should explore their needs, and also see the research paper about the 15 variables, and ask the client to write, is there anything to add, and based on that we can categorize high, medium and low, like minus sign, plus sign and zeros, based on that. And further approaches like ask them to write about the pleasant and unpleasant experiences, and Herzberg's motivation theory, like satisfiers and dissatisfiers were different, and also about Vroom's expectation theory, and etc.
Yes, the two things are there. One is the what I expect, how much I expect, and how much I receive.
Yes, sir.
The difference between the two.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, Khushi.
So for me, in the 15 variables, you talked about an item when we can ask our client or the employees of that particular client if they'll be willing to change the job if they get a better option. I think that particular item can help a lot in determining if the employees reply to the questionnaires or to the tool was biased or not. That is all that I would like to talk about, because Vignesh mostly talked about all the theories that you mentioned, Herzberg's theory, then Vroom's expectancy. So that's all.
Yeah, another, that is the three things are there. One is the antecedent, that is the A, and B, that is the job satisfaction variables, and C is the consequence. A, B, C model.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Akshita, have you written something?
Yes, sir. So I would like to start with the example that you gave of the lunch group example, and relating it to the dedication of the worker, and also the example that you gave about the cleaner, the sweeper, which highlighted that how only one factor is not determining that why one is committed towards a job, and also the variables that you discussed about good pay, pressure, security, and respected job, all the variables, and how we can add and deduct a variable. Moving on to the next, the satisfaction and the dissatisfaction, which does not imply that presence of one means the absence of other. I'm not sure if I can say that these may be mutually exclusive events. I'm not sure about that. So that was like other, everything else has been covered by Khushi and Vignesh. So the only thing that was like I was thinking about, maybe this is not something that has been much of a discussion, as you told about the Maslow's need hierarchy theory, and also the self-actualization that is very difficult to achieve. So there was this case study which stated that if a person reaches the self-actualization also, because we discussed that money is not the only factor that determines the job satisfaction, and then why would someone want a pay hike, and that can lead to different factors. Coming back to what I was saying, so the self-actualization, when a person was working for his self-actualization needs, then also that person was charging fees or something, and the possible explanation that was reached was that because free services are not valued. So how can we understand it more, if there is something that can be given a perspective to? I was like, I wanted to ask this, but I did not wanted to interrupt you.
No, that is the two things are there, because it is academic trust, number one.
No, I'm not saying about this. So there was this case study in my commerce textbook that we studied in class 12th. So that is something, since that at that time we asked this question to my professor. Me and my friend, we both went and asked. But since that time, this is something that has been like, that is stuck in my mind, because that was a specific example of painting. That case study was related to painting, and that person was not selling his paintings for free of cost. And
yeah, that is okay, because you see, everything is in your mindset. What is within your mindset? That is the main thing. So when you want to assess the job satisfaction, two things are there. That is what is within your mindset. Okay. So what you are expecting. For example, you have drawn many pictures, and all the pictures are hanging on the wall of your room. So if I ask you, Okshita, please, I want to buy it, then what will be your expression? What will be? then will you think that is okay? Definitely, please, the charge is 5,000. So please you give me the 5,000 and I will give you. Do you? No, because you are basically the creative person. So the 5 types of people are there. One is they are very much realistic in nature. They count everything with money. There is another group, they are theoretical approach. They are not counting anything with money. They are giving importance of the money, but does not mean that is the money is everything. Then Sir Isaac Newton cannot discover gravitation.
Right.
The third group, they are basically creative in nature. They are engaged in creativity. So when you talk about the job satisfaction, they are basically creative in nature. So they create different type of jobs. They are innovative. They do not like routine job.
Got your point.
Other people, they are entrepreneurship. So they are trying to relate everything with respect to the business. So how much business they can create. So business means satisfaction. Usually people who are very much realistic, they are preferring the entrepreneurship. Another people are there, they are basically the conventional. They like routine jobs. Okay, they are satisfied with the routine jobs. If you assign them any creative job, they will be very much disturbed. You will find the high rate of absenteeism in them. So as a psychologist, you have to find out, that is, what type of your client is. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I'm not from, I don't know much about psychology, but I was looking at it from an economics perspective, maybe.
Yeah, in the behavioral economics, yes, Riyashik model. Very good. Thank you, Vignesh. Riyashik model. Riyashik model is related to the behavioral finance. When you study the behavioral finance, that is related to the Riyashik model. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, Mona Lisa,
Yes, sir.
are you free to talk?
Yes, sir.
You have some network problem, na?
Yes, sir. Today, very much problem.
Okay. So thank you, Khushi. Thank you, Vignesh. Thank you, Mona Lisa and Okshita. Please do join Khushi in our group, Applied Statistics group. Okay.
Yes, sir. I just joined it today only.
Please do join there so that you will get all the advertisement
Sure, sir.
related to the applied statistics. Okay.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful
You
workshop.
can tell your friends also. Okay. I hope I have served your purpose.
Thank you, sir. It was an awesome workshop, a very, very informative session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Please close your hands so that I can start the prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, thank you. Good night. Best wishes to all of you. If you have anything to share, please you can share in the group. Okay. Today's discussion will be available in YouTube, so you can study.